Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I am Jasmine and I will be guiding you through the process of creating an EC2 load balancer and an EC2 autoscaling group on Amazon Web Service Management Console. But first, let us learn what these things actually do. In this video, we will talk about load balancer and the benefits of using them and autoscaling groups or ASGs and their components. This will be followed by a tutorial on how to create a load balancer and an autoscaling group on the AWS website. Load balancing is a method of distributing network traffic equally across a pool of resources that support an application. Modern applications must process millions of users simultaneously and return the correct text, videos, images, and other data to each user in a fast and reliable manner. To handle such high volumes of traffic, most applications have many resource servers with duplicate data between them. A load balancer is a device that sits between the user and the server group and acts as an invisible facilitator, ensuring that all resource servers are used equally. Load balancing directs and controls internet traffic between the application servers and their visitors or clients. As a result, it improves an application's availability, scalability, security, and performance. What are some of the benefits of load balancing? Application availability. Server failure or maintenance can increase application downtime, making your application unavailable to visitors. Load balancers increase the fault tolerance of your systems by automatically detecting server problems and redirecting client traffic to available servers. Application security. Load balancers come with built-in security features to add another layer of security to your internet applications. They are a useful tool to deal with distributed denial of service attacks in which attackers flood an application with millions of concurrent requests that cause server failure. Application performance. Load balancers improve application performance by increasing response time and reducing network latency. Application scalability. You can use load balancers to direct network traffic intelligently among multiple servers. Companies usually have their application running on multiple servers. Such a server arrangement is called a server farm. User requests to the application first go to the load balancer. The load balancer then routes each request to a single server in the server farm, best suited to handle the request. Load balancing is like the work done by a manager in a restaurant. Consider a restaurant with 5 waiters. If customers were allowed to choose their waiters, 1 or 2 waiters could be overloaded with work while the others are idle. To avoid this scenario, the restaurant manager assigns customers to the specific waiters who are best suited to serve them. Our next topic is autoscaling groups or ASGs on Amazon Web. Autoscaling helps you ensure that you have the correct number of Amazon EC2 instances available to handle the load for your application. You create collections of EC2 instances called autoscaling groups. You can specify the minimum number of instances in each ASG, and autoscaling ensures that your group never goes below this size, and you can specify the maximum number of instances in your ASG, and autoscaling ensures that your group never goes above this size. If you specify the desired capacity, either when you create the group or at any time thereafter, autoscaling ensures that your group has this many instances. If you specify scaling policies, then ASG can launch or terminate instances as demand on your application increases or decreases. For example, the following ASG has a minimum size of 1 instance, a desired capacity of 2 instances, and a maximum size of 4 instances. The scaling policies that you define adjust the number of instances within your minimum and maximum number based on the criteria that you specify. Autoscaling components. Groups. Your EC2 instances are organized into groups so that they can be treated as a logical unit for the purpose of scaling and management. Configuration templates. Your group uses a launch template or a launch configuration as a configuration template for its EC2 instances. And scaling options. Amazon EC2 autoscaling provides several ways for you to scale your autoscaling groups. For example, you can configure a group to scale based on the occurrence of specified conditions or on a schedule. If you have not watched the last video on building web servers, I would highly recommend watching it before proceeding. Certain parts such as creating a key pair and security groups have been covered in the previous video that will come in handy for this tutorial. First, we are going to visit the Amazon Web Services website. Let us begin by logging in to the AWS Management Console website. Go to EC2. The first step is to launch a template. So look for Launch Template in this menu and create Launch Template. We need to select an appropriate name for our LT. And a description. Provide guidance to help me set up a template that I can use with EC2 autoscaling. Since we are going to be making an ASG, we need to check this box. Next, you need to select your AMI. Just click on Browse for AMIs and select one of your choice. I'm going with Linux. The next step is to select your type of instance. Under AWS free tier eligibility, I'm able to use t3.micro. Check for the instance on your system that has the same free tier eligibility option and select that to avoid expenses. If you have watched the previous video, I'm sure you would have created a key pair using PuTTY to launch your instances manually. To demonstrate the use of ASG, we will be using the same key pair to safely launch our instances, but this time it will be done automatically. Next, we will move on to selecting a security group. In the previous video, you must have learned how to create a security group and add HTTP and SSH inbound rules to it. We will be using the same security group here as well. Here you can add resource tags, enter any name of your choice. We want our instances to launch automatically. Nothing should be manual. For this, it is necessary that we give bash commands. Just go to Advanced Details and scroll down. You will see this user data box. This is where we will add our bash commands. This way, we don't have to manually enter the bash commands into the PuTTY app. Let me just copy the bash commands in. On the right side, we see a summary of the details of our LT. All the steps are complete. Now we just need to click on Create Launch Template. You can go here and view your launch template. Go back to your EC2 dashboard. Our next step is to create a load balancer. Scroll down on this menu and find Load Balancers and Create Load Balancer. We are going to create a classic load balancer. Of course, the first step is to enter a name for your LB. Under this next section, we need to select availability zones. If we select only one data center and that center is down, the high availability of your website is at risk. Selecting 3 data centers is better than 1, so we will select all 3. In this section, use the same security group that you have used to assign for your launch template, MySG and deselect default. The next section is health checks. We want all our check intervals to be minimum because we don't want any delay. So we are going to set the time accordingly. Just click on the advanced health check drop box and 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds and 2 seconds. Next we have instances. Here we need not select any instances. Because we want to launch instances automatically, we are creating an ASG. So the ASG will take care of this part. We have finished all the steps needed to create a load balancer. We can view a quick summary of the details over here. And let's click on Create Load Balancer. You can go here to view the load balancer that you have created.
Go back to your EC2 dashboard. The last step left is to create an ASG. So look for auto scaling groups and click on Create. As you can see, there are 7 steps to create an ASG. As always, the first thing to do is enter a name. And then you need to select the launch template that you have created and click on Next. Under this selection, we need to select availability zones, and 3 data centers are better than 1, so we will be selecting all 3 data centers. And click on Next. The third step is to attach the load balancer. Because we've already created a load balancer, we will select Attach to an existing load balancer and then choose from Classic load balancers. Next, we come to the health check section. Turn on elastic load balancing checks. Marking this box ensures that any instances that have failed the health checks get replaced automatically. But let us reduce time for each health check to 30 seconds. And click on Next. This next section is about scaling policies. As discussed earlier, we need to have a minimum and maximum capacity and a target tracking policy. So let us set these values. Minimum 3, maximum 10. The desired capacity allows you to decide how many servers should be running at any point of time. To avoid latency, it is best to set the desired capacity as a minimum capacity. The next thing to do is set our target tracking policy. Select that option and you can set the metric type as average CPU utilization. When our CPU reaches 90% capacity, that is when we want the load balancer to launch a web server. So let's set the target value as 90. Instances need some time to warm up. Including the 30 seconds that we set for health check period, we can add 20 seconds. Instance warm up time can hence be set as 50 seconds. Disable scale in to create a scale out policy. Checking this would mean that our ASG will only be able to launch new instances per requirement, but won't be able to delete them. This will not be very cost efficient and half the purpose of using ASGs will be destroyed. Hence, we will not check this box. Similarly, this box also need not be checked. Click on Next. You can choose to add notifications or not as per your need. You can add tags as well. I'm going to set this as name and web server. And all the steps are finally finished. So let us click on Create ASG. You can review the details here and create auto scaling group. Your ASG is visible on this page.
If you notice here, there are 3 instances running just like we had dictated in our desired capacity. Let us go to Load Balancer, MyLB, and check under Instances that there are 3 instances currently running. Go to Description, copy the DNS of your website, paste it on a new tab, and there is our website. This brings us to the end of our video. Thank you.